Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. I think we'll be doing some soldering practice today, and this is a kit I got off Amazon called the Audio Spectrum Indicator DIY Kit DC. Now, I did buy this with the intention of doing a group live stream, and it's been sitting languishing on my shelf for a long time, and it's a rainy Sunday. So I thought, let's just have a quick look. Maybe we can whack it together. I've not got the instructions for it, so I'm hoping I can just fathom it by looking at the board. So first things first, you've got 3 bags of LEDs. Some are red, some are green, and some are blue. Because this PCB says so, because you have GRB, 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 GRB. But that might not be the colour scheme you want actually when you're using this, so you might be able to figure that out. It's a VU meter, as it said, and there's a microphone on there. So perhaps you might want different colours. I mean, to be honest, red, green, blue is a pretty random colour for a VU meter, because I always think you should start off in the green, approach the amber or yellow, and then end up at the red danger zone. However, we'll just figure it out as we go along. So just looking through the components, nothing too saucy in here, apart from you do have a few resistors that are coming in twos. So these 3 sets here are all in pairs, so you're going to have to buzz them out or something, or read the colours if you're able to do that. But apart from that, everything else looks reasonably self-explanatory. You've got 2 LM3 914s, and that's going to be giving you the driver outputs. You have your microphone there, and it appears to be stacking somehow. Although not entirely sure how, because it's an offset stack. I will eyeball these up. You can see you've got these connectors. I like how it says con star star, so you'd have to figure that out. Oh, there's CN star star that way. So it might just slot in together like that. Although that wouldn't be very good because the microphone would be covered up. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out a bit. But first I think let me have a little sort out of the components. Just buzzed them out with a meter and then just wrote what they are. Keep it nice and simple. So we have a couple of 1Ks here, so let's see if we can find a home for them on this PCB. And we can see there's one right there. And I will have to 3D print off a bender soon because I've lost all mine, and they are very easy to 3D print. I'm just so lazy. I haven't gone on the what's that one? It's not Thingiverse I use now, it's the Prusa one. All my models are there, by the way. So I'm just looking for another 1K. I mean, there might not be another 1K on here, of course. And I might be just searching in vain. There's a 1M and there's a 10K. So maybe I'll just put this 1K aside and we'll have a look through the pile. I certainly have a 1 meg right here in my hand. So there's a 1 mega ohm there. And again, you got 2 of those. So we'll have to check out this PCB. So this is the LED PCB, and there's really none of that on there. So I will just have to be a bit more ginger as I post these through and keep the labels on the end so that I know what they are. So we'll take that one and we'll take that one. That's our 1 meg. And then maybe if there are any left over at the end, I'll be able to figure out where they should go. So that's all we're going to do. Read off the LEDs, post them through. Got 3 10Ks here. And someone's mowing their garden at about 8 PM it is now, which is a very odd time to be mowing one's lawn. But as they say, an Englishman's house is his castle, and he may choose to mow his castle moat whenever he or she wishes. And what was that one? I just forgot what that was. The 10K, of course. Right. Well, I shall just talk to myself and post the last few of these through. And it will all appear in a flash to you at home. So I seem to be stuck because there are a couple of vacant resistor holes on my board that say 100k, yet I definitely don't have any 100ks left. So I'm just sort of resorting to checking these again just in case I measured them wrong. But yeah, this is 0.4 of a mega ohm, so 500k. And this one is almost 100k. So I think that's probably close enough. Maybe I've made a mistake on this board. So let's see. I think I might have put this in the wrong place if that's the case. That's a 1 mega ohm. Let me just check that one. It's very odd, very odd. No, these two are definitely 100k. And this one is half a meg. I think this is close enough. I'm going to chuck this one in the half meg and those in the 100k holes. So you can see I'm just racing away. It's such a fun kit. It really is. It's very easy to find the parts you need without any instructions. You can just post them through. There's a lot of parts with the same part numbers, so that makes it nice and easy. And everything's well marked. So for example, this says 100 microfarads on this electrolytic, and you can see right there, there's your 100 microfarads. You've got to remember long leg positive, and something I've only recently started to remember, the old long leg positive. But that can go in there. And the benefit of this kit is you will be able to solder everything from the top, I reckon. Well, apart from maybe the mic and a few things, but most things you can solder from the top, which makes assembly far more easy. I mean, I prefer it that way. You might not though, of course. You might prefer the old bottom end. Like, for example, these capacitors are definitely going to be easier attacked from the bottom. They're very hard to attack from the top. So I'm going to leave all of the headers till the very end. And I have noticed something on the LEDs, by the way. The bags did have dots. This one's lost its green dot, but we have a red dot and a blue dot. So that makes the kit even better, doesn't it not? Now we have here a variable resistor, and I'm struggling to see where to put it on here, and I'm quite confident it doesn't go on this board, so I might just have to pop that on in a oh no, I see a place where it could go, and yep, it goes on the back. I'm going to risk it because while I'm soldering everything from the top, I will be able to solder this one too if it's in place. So at the risk of everything jumping out, nope, nothing jumped out. I think we're there. I think that's enough for now. So what I do is get an old cup, which you can see I've emptied all the chaff out of it, and I'll pop the board like that. Be careful working on that end because you're obviously not got anything to cantilever against it. And then I'm getting a hefty roll of solder ready. We've got the iron just warming up, again, about 300 degrees. And I'll just angle this slightly and we'll zoom in, shall we? So you can have a nice, I know you like to have a look at the old solder going on, me too. Although it's not the ideal thing to solder on from a focusing perspective because the camera wants to focus on what's in the tub, not what's on the tub. But we'll see how we go with it. Seems okay in my little viewfinder. So there's one, there's two, and it's really trying to fall in. So I'm just pushing it with the palm of my hand, stop it falling in. But you can see the PCB's actually nice and clean, without any additional flux other than what's already present in the solder. It's flowing right into those nicely. And let's just attack the capacitor leg. Oh yes, it seems pretty good. I'm not, yeah, no, that got it. And then the transistor leg. So what you can do as well, I mean, like now I'm just tacking one leg on each side because I might just flip them and do them from the bottom anyway, just for belt and braces, of course. But you can solder the entire thing. Anything you can reach from the top, if you've got these through plated vias, which you will, they're just as good as soldering it from the bottom. It's absolutely fine. But for the purists at home, it's fine too. As I say, we're going to just tack one end, flip them over. Nothing will fall out then because it's all going to be tacked. And then do it that way. Now, if you are a bottom side purist, you will be happy because the LEDs, of course, have no other route. They can only be soldered that way, and it will cause me much grief and much pain. Because if you remember, there was a kit not so long back where we had to do that, and I do recall it being quite stressful because all of the LEDs fell out multiple times. Right, so I think that's most things. There are a couple of electrolytic capacitors here that are just sitting loose, but we're going to solder those first. So they're the tallest, so as I push down on the board, they'll actually be pushed into the PCB, and that lets me get in there and just tack those little leggies that are sticking up. There's a bit of a jungle here. I'm just trying to figure out how to work my way to it. There we go. Gotcha. Bit of heat. And we're there. So I think that's pretty good. While we're there, we might as well shove the microphone in. And it is polarized, but you can't get it wrong because it will definitely not fit your footprint at all the wrong way around. Now the microphone is shorter than the electrolytic capacitor next to it, so you probably want to do that first. However, I'm just going to tack it by using my extra set of hands. There we go. Actually, that's pretty well soldered anyway. And you can see that's nice. What else? We've got a power port, an audio port, and a switch. So let's put the audio port. Again, we might have to do the same trick. The instructions would probably tell you to start with that, seeing as it is such a shallow thing. But yeah, that's no problem, is it? Look, that's in. We can just get straight in there and attack it. Oh, the board's jumping around it's like a buckaroo banzai in the PCB dimension. Got it. Or else. So we've got a switch, but the switch is on the what we're going to call the back side. So that gives us some clues of where to put these headers. And it's been a bit awkward. There we go. Sometimes these switches, I tend to bend those little tabs over. When I was doing the Atari ST VGA adapter things, I would often do that. That's good. It's stuck in there. In fact, let me just check this is in all the way. It is. Nice. Yeah, that's perfect. And then we have the power. Now it does come with a USB power cable, which is nice. That one we will have to do totally from this side. Yeah, it's nice because it's, again, one less thing that you have to look for. Now there is a little bit of a trick with this thing, and I'm going to show you. It's quite common on these Far East kits too. The little trick I'm about to show you. It's not an amazing trick. This is like a Paul Daniels trick. You're going to like it, but not a lot. But you want a bit of one of your old bits of wire, chopped off something. I'm just going to get rid of the extra. And you can see the power socket there is going to be liable to being yanked out. So what they expect you to do is to take a bit of that wire. I'm just going to try, oh god, what an awful side cut. Just going to try to trim the end. I think that's a severely damaged side cut, so I might have to bin that. Sometimes there's side cuts just no good for anything. They've become so damaged, there's no job in your house that you can use it for. You can't use it for your toenails, you can't use it for anything. But you can see there, I flipped over that bit of wire with the intention of acting as a kind of a strain relief. But it's not quite where I want it just yet. So what I'm going to do is tack one side so it can't go anywhere. And I'm going to gingerly put this soldering iron down. I really need to make myself another stand for it. And then I'm going to go in with something flat, like this screwdriver, and we are going to, get off, just press it like that, just to flatten it out, to tension it over the top nicely. There we go. And then the last little bit to poke it through the hole. In fact, yeah, there we go. It was actually slightly peened, so it didn't really want to go in the hole, but it's good enough. And then if we solder that on too, there's less chance of your kids yanking it off, basically. Right, enough of that. Now comes the onslaught of soldering all of the other legs. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not really taxing. You'll just run through it. Just make sure that you haven't shorted anything as you're going along. But it really will not take you any time at all to do this. In fact, most things are easier done than said, to be honest with you, in life. There we go. Look at these. And I am missing a few. You'll see I'm skipping a few. It's just because those are quite hard to get to. And what I'll do is I'll come back in a second pass after I've chopped off some of the more annoying legs. Get to them. Yes. Yes, we're doing good here. Ooh, those ones have decided to have a little bit of a lie down, but we won't hold it against them. And I think we might be there. Right, so there were a few we left. Let's see if we can attack them without chopping off the legs. Yeah, you can get to them. Depends how nimble you are with your iron. Yep. And we've got one more here. And that, as they say, is that. So I'm just going to go on to the next stage, where we'll be repeating this. And that's just getting your side cutters and trimming off these little legs. If they're having a little sleep like those, lying down, just wake them up. Come on, boys. Up and at 'em. Time for your porridge. Oh, that one was left a bit heinous. I'm not even going to zoom in to show you because it might be against YouTube policies to show such graphic materials, especially if it's quite early in the morning in your country. You definitely don't want to see this. But trust me, it was okay. It's fine. Don't worry. Just imagine a perfectly cut bit of wire, and that's what you'll see. Nip, nip. Nearly there. Crikey. He's fast. He's too fast for YouTube. The bit rates can't keep up. But there you go. That's that done. So, I guess basically you've got to decide which is going to have the sockets and which is going to have the headers, and you're going to go and blat all those on. But before you do, let's get our IC carriers in, and that's one of those. And these IC carriers, or sockets, they kind of serve, it's quite nice when they've got them, to be honest with you. They serve as a sort of a fallback, that, especially if you're practicing, so that in case you cock up inserting your socket, which is also a dual inline package, you haven't ruined the chip, which would be harder to get hold of than one of these. And I suppose even if you really cock these up, you could pull them out and solder the chip directly if you think your skills are up to it. Now I got to plug my iron back in, unfortunately, because like I said, I don't have the stand set up, so I like to unplug it. Now, how am I going to get sound into this? Because the old phones tend not to have the headphone. Oh, I do have my Sega Game Gear here with Space Harriet. We can try that. And of course, we can try directly with a microphone anyway. So I'm just going to tack. Come on, solder iron, wake up. It's not hot enough yet. It's at 270. Give me more heat. I need more heat. Ah! I managed to save it before it all fell apart. So what I'm doing, because you can't see, is I'm just tacking one leg on each. But you can see it now. Here's the tacked leg on each, and now I'm just pushing up on the bottom side, and that's looking good. I just want to make sure they're sitting pretty. I'm going to do the opposite corners, but I'm not really committing too much to them because I know that they aren't flush. Now it is. Again, pushing up from the other side. Now it is. Just a quick check. Yeah, they're looking alright. I do like this part. Cleaning me tip. I'm cleaning me tip because I'm going in deep. Ready? So actually, let's try a little trick. Sometimes I just, you know, oh yeah, look at that. It's almost just a bit of a drag soldering. I can't feed it quick enough. It's hungry. It's too hungry for the solder. Yeah. Oh, I pushed the button. What did I do? Oh, doesn't matter. Push the button on my iron. I think I've upped the temperature. I'm upping the heat in here. It's getting hot in here. Oh yeah. That is some nice action there. Now, before I pop the chips in, of course, I could, boards in this orientation, we could have a go at popping some of these. These, by the way, are a pain in the buttocks. I don't know why I'm populating all of these. There's no way I'm going to flip the board in any sort of sensible way that will keep them in. Yeah, alright, let's just do the lazy. Nope. Nope. Yeah, there you go. So there's your cheat. This will be enough to get in there and tack it, hopefully. Oh yeah, I gotcha. I got that one. Gotcha. Oh yeah. I'm going to treat myself to a tall glass of umbungo after this. Is that all of them? Yeah, it is all of them. And to be honest, they're not looking too bad. They just need the most minorest amount of adjustment. So with a bit of luck, because these sockets are installed on this side, we might be able to put the pin headers into them and then use this as a jig for soldering the other side. Hang on a minute, what's going on with this microphone? I'm really confused though. Hang on. Like that's how... No. What? Yeah. That's how it goes, but the microphone will be totally covered. I just don't know. I just don't know what I should do. Let's just keep going. It's a tragedy for me to see the dream is over, and I never will forget the day we met. Girl, I'm gonna miss you. Name that tune. 3, 2, 1. I think, because I'm not even convinced myself what that tune is, I think it was Milli Vanilli. Whoever they turned out to be, because there was a lot of drama back then. They were fakes. I don't know why, but maybe the original actual singers of the Milli Vanilli were not charismatic or attractive, because you really need to be both, don't you? Or do you actually need charisma? Yeah, I suppose you need some sort of stage presence. Either way, it wasn't them singing. And the public found out because the guy went on a news interview and he went, "Girl, don't you know it's true?" And then everyone's like, "Hang on a minute, that were reet crap." Because Milli Vanilli fans were all from up north somewhere in Bedfordshire or other places that may be north. I don't really know any places that are in the UK. I've been to places. I've been to Leeds. I've been to Manchester. I've been north of Hadrian's Wall. But I get confused because there's so many places named after cakes. And then I get, I start thinking about cakes, And then I wonder if there's other desserts. You know, all the towns. Is every like dessert named after a town? There might be. There might be a town of custard. Right, let's get that in. Custard sounds like a place in Wales. So that is looking actually quite nice, and it's heavy. It's a nice kit actually, because this is like a dense thing. You've just made something significant and dense and meaningful. Right. Let's plug the old soldering iron in. This is where the pain starts. So here we've got our greens, reds and blues. So this is the greens. Should we start with the greens? I think that's the way to do it so you don't get confused. Because I do confuse easily. Oh, crikey. So we have to post in them the right way round. And remember the long leg. Should probably zoom in so you can have a look. That's the footprint. The long leg is at the top on those. You can see it's once green, green. Red, red. Rud. Oh, it's got a twist on that one. And I'll put it in the right way. There we go. Green. Red, blue, green. I don't know really how many to put in as a sensible amount to start with. I'm going to go for 6, I think. I think you can do them in 6s. Actually, sod it. Let's just go for a whole row. See what happens. Although I guess strictly it's a column. Now it's not going to do anything fancy, by the way, with this. It's not going to somehow blend those colours into something amazing. It's just going to be lame looking. And if I had any other LEDs, or was willing to just look at my box of LEDs, I would do it as a traditional VU. But let's see. I think it's going to end up more like a disco light. It's because the people who designed these kits weren't born of a time where VU meters were an essential bit of kit. But look, they do seem to be giving you quite a lot of extra LEDs. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Let's put those aside because we're going to go for the ultimate in flippage. Oh, it did flip. Come on. Come on. Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to find the ones which are jammed up. There are a few. Whilst applying positive pressure. Come on now. Come on, I don't want to have to do it. So yeah, I think doing 6 at a time probably would have been sensible. But that's it. We got there, we got there, we got there. I just jostled them around a bit. So that means we're almost a third of the LEDs in. Now I hope these stay sensibly seated. I'm sure we're about to find out if that was the case. I'm not going to do both legs for obvious reasons. While I'm pushing down it's good, but then when I take the soldering iron off I can feel the whole board kind of bounce back up a little bit, so it's not confidence inspiring. Yeah, I mean that's a bit wonky, but yeah, it's not a great way of doing it, to be honest with you. Some people swear by a bit of foam, but I've not really had much success with that. But I will try to obtain a different foam. Perhaps the density was not correct. I'll tell you what would be horrible though, that green stuff you have with plants. Do you remember that as a kid? I used to always like jamming my nails in that. Still, this was pretty easy to correct though, just using the same technique we've been using all along. You want this bit right though, this is the bit that people will see. I say people will see, I mean I'll probably just throw it in a box, but if you were inclined to 3D print a nice enclosure for it, and have a look at my Discord, because I know that Andy Beer has made this kit and he is kind of inclined to make 3D models on his printer. So he might have made a case for it, or I could probably be cajoled into designing something if I had to. Okay, so that's them. And then what I suggest is just trim those before doing the next colour, so that you just don't have those in the way. And in fact, it would be a nightmare, wouldn't it, posting the other ones through with all these extra legs getting in your way. Too many legs. A belly full of legs. Get that off there. Right. And then just, you know, rinse and repeat for all the other colours. So you got the reds next, and then after that, the blues. He sang every morning how lucky I am to be living in a windmill in old Amsterdam. I saw a mouse. Where? You can see I'm just shoving in those blue LEDs and red in one go. I just can't face the idea of having to go through that process over and over again, so I thought I'll just do it in one hit, which is probably going to turn out very badly. If I had some scotch tape or something, I'd probably just put a piece of scotch tape over the top, because the red ones and the blue ones would stick to the green ones that are already soldered, and I suspect that would be far easier to flip the board. I do have insulating tape, but I feel it's a bit of a waste, isn't it, to probably waste like 5 inches of insulating tape. That's expensive tape, that is. Don't want to waste it. Right. Oh, did you see that? It just it got away from me, but I think oh no, stop, wait. Right, I've got to gather myself. Some of these are really trying to go wrong. And if they go wrong, they're going to drag them all down with you. Oh! Come on. Oh, is that it? Is he there? He's almost... One of these is just keeping it bound up. Ah, there we go. I think we're pretty much there. Right, soldering. I'm feeling happy because these are now all looking in the right direction, and I have the opportunity to just bang through and solder them, albeit through this little jungle. And it does give me time to give you a movie synopsis, a movie review. I was just watching, I'm trying to remember what the name of the bloody movie was. I'll describe it to you and you can tell me. It was aliens were attacking LA, and a soldier guy who wanted to retire, but he couldn't retire because the meteor war was coming from the aliens, and the aliens are in these indestructible suits, and they're melded to their guns. And then what happens is a drone comes and they make a radio crybaby to distract it, and that works. And then they discover they have to blow up the main flying alien ship, and that will destroy all the drones. And they do that, and it was good. And the girl from Fast and Furious was in it, and she was happy. The end. I advise you go and see it immediately. Okay, so I think we're there with the old solder ends. Cut the legs off, put on the pin headers, and we're going to chuck some power on. Isn't it very exciting? Some people do this in a plastic bag to stop the little bits going in their eyes. I think that's probably a good idea, but I'm using these side cutters with integrated grippy things that hold the legs when you chop them off, so I don't need those. Right, that's all chopped off. Let's just bung on these pin headers. And we'll be away how we pet. Now I'm not worried too much. I didn't even check the soldering of those LEDs, just because if there's a problem we could just pop off this board, which is nice for a change. We're not really committing too hard to it. Okay, we're ready. 330 degrees for some reason, because I accidentally turned the temperature up on my soldering iron, but that's fine. You can kind of go quite hot, but you'll know when you're going too hot because it will be oxidizing in a horrible way. So there's a sweet spot with solder. You'll see it, just keep it right. I mean, solder does say on it what temperature it melts, but in my experience your iron always has to be hotter than that. Because you don't want it merely to just go droopy, you'll want to melt it fully, turn it into liquid, like that Terminator movie. Oh yeah, nearly there. It's exciting. I'm getting a bit carried away because I just don't want to stap. Don't want to stap. And by the way, you noticed I didn't have to use the other board as a jig because they were really nice and firm the way they went in. Okay. I suspect that goes on that like that. Again, microphone being totally covered up. Weird, but you could probably mount it the other way as long as you get the polarity correct. Just bear in mind the polarity. Plugging this into our power supply. Ooh, right there. Oh, and it's on. So you can see as soon as you turn it on, they jumped up. And look at this red LED there. There's one. How did I get that one so bad? Anyway, that's okay. None the wiser. Oh, it does work. I just had to go really close to it with my mouth because the microphone is in a very odd place. Okay. Hello. This is not very good. So let's see if we can adjust this. This might be the gain. Yes. This is the gain. This is the gain of the microphone. 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 This is the gain. It's quite pleasing, isn't it? It's. I think I'm just going to turn the gain a tiny bit higher, so that I look, I can put it on the table now. So as I talk to you, you can see it is picking up the microphone reasonably well, and it's not bad at all. I've got a Duff LED though because I've put that one in upside down. You might just be able to spot that upside down LED. We'll sort that out in a moment. Right, but the thing that I am interested in trying is this external sound. So let's see when I plug this in if this stops working. And by the way, this is absolutely a solid, bloody nice bit of kit here. I'm not lying. It's gorgeous. They don't pay me. Oh, so was that from? Look at that. I know you can't hear it because the sound on the Sega is actually going straight through this, but it is actually working because you can see as I play with the volume control, you can see it going up and down with the Space Harrier music. Get ready! This would be actually quite a lot better effect though if you did have it split so that you could actually hear what you're seeing on the screen, but I think it shows it works. There you go, it's working 100%, all the LEDs intact. I think this would be a fantastic thing if you were hearing impaired and you needed something, one, to tell you how loud your telly was if you're driving everybody insane in the room, although you have to get somebody who can hear to help you tune it up. And two, again, if you're still hearing impaired and you want something on the door when someone's like knocking on the door, so you can say, hey, there's somebody there. Or if you're just wearing headphones and you're just watching something late at night or whatever and you don't want to be interrupted whilst you're watching. Anyway, hopefully that's been of some interest to you. Please like, subscribe, go on my Discord, say hello, comment down below. And as ever, thank you for watching.